Bloobly bloobly bloop. Recording.
Blah.
What's up, everybody? I am AndyRoop alongside Hypermynd and Lost Drake, and welcome to Pardon the Distraction, the very first episode. Welcome, everybody. Say hello, boys.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. Hello.
So we are in a little bit of a predicament. You know what? Why don't you tell them about it, Drake?
So obviously we've been trying to get this podcast going for quite some time, and we finally got all the kinks worked out and got all the graphics done, and we were so excited and so upbeat about everything. And then my AC went out, and I live in Arizona, and it's 112 degrees in my studio. So we are pushing through the motion for you guys. We are going to have a good time with it. And if I look a little wet, I apologize. It's not that type of site, but we're here to have a good time. That's all that matters.
This is true. So for those of you that don't know, you may not know us. You may see us every week. But you know what, Drake, let's start with you since you were just talking. Why don't you kind of just tell us about you, where you come from, kind of things that you love in gaming and entertainment world.
Yeah, no, for sure. For everybody who doesn't know me, I am the Lost Drake. I am a partnered streamer over on Twitch. I also am on every other platform. The Lost Drake across the board, no matter where you're at, I'm there. The Lost Drake, you'll find me. Hi. But I'm a vet. I'm a family man. I live in Arizona. It is very hot right now, and I'm here to have a very, very good time with all of you guys, because these podcasts are something that we have been trying to do for quite some time. And I mean, that's really, really what the point of this is, to bring a little bit of hype and energy to all of you guys in the podcast realm. Everybody always is doing podcasts, but we're trying to bring something a little bit different, helping people out, trying to bring that extra oomph to the podcast realm. So hi, everyone. Hope you swing by and say hi all the time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
Wow.
Good, man.
It's like I'm professional.
Something like that. Yeah, so I am AndyRoop, and AndyRoop, or I am AndyRoop on some socials. Could never get the Andy. There's like some guy that has AndyRoop on Twitter that hasn't had anything in like 50 years, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah, so I'm a musician.
He makes balloon animals.
He
Does.
Where'd you get that from? So,
I don't know. I just made it up as we went, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Balloon and AndyRoop. Give that proper Twitter handle.
Give that man a follow.
You son of a. All right.
No, so I'm a musician. I have a design degree as well, so I'm constantly in that. And I play multiple instruments, as you can see from the studio. A lot of producing stuff that I've done in the past. Obviously, love games from when I was a kid. I'm a huge Marvel nerd. Me and my wife both are both Marvel nerds. Not so much on the DC side, but we'll talk about that later. No, I loved games since I was a kid. My very first one was that I remember, especially with like multiplayers, is obviously James Bond 007 on the N64.
Oh, GoldenEye?
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
Yeah, GoldenEye was kind of like.
I have a funny story about that, but we can talk about that later too. I don't want to get too distracted, but let's just say it involved one of those big projection TVs, and I burned the 4 quadrants into their brand new TV at my neighbor's parents' house, and they weren't very happy about us because we played it for 3 days straight and burned the crosshair split screen as I punched my mic.
Well, I think from what I remember though, that's like one of the I mean, I'm a lot younger than you guys, but like I think
wow.
I don't know about
like that was
lot.
That's it. This is where we end the podcast. Sorry, guys. We're out. I'm out. Not here.
Look,
now.
actually, we have an opening now for a third.
Yeah. Hey,
if you want to fill this spot,
there we go.
It's a little less insulting.
Yep.
No, but I remember that, like, the friends and family coming over and us playing that games for hours. And I don't remember another game that really had that impact. I mean, I think anybody that plays games now have, that was kind of the one game that they love to play multiplayer, right?
You know, it impacted me when you called me old. Thanks. I feel good about it. Thanks.
I mean, so what was funny was we obviously had 4 N64 controllers, and we had this one controller that the thumbstick in the middle would get stuck.
Yeah.
And so you'd be running, and then all of a sudden your character would just start.
That was the very first dongle.
Spinning around.
The first analog stick, wasn't it?
It was the funniest thing. Yeah, it was. I think so. Yeah.
What? Yeah, it was actually the first analog stick, wasn't it?
Yep.
Nintendo, man, they're just paving the way.
They really did.
They did. That was really the first analog stick. Now that I think about it, that was well. I mean, if you want to call Atari, because Atari definitely had like the roll wheel.
Yeah,
but it was the first analog stick that replaced a D-pad.
Don't you talk about my D? Oh, that's what this podcast is.
D, my man.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we're progressing. Okay.
We always had like the one controller that wasn't the official controller, and like everyone fought to not get stuck with it.
It was like a sewer shark or something. What the hell were they? What was that off-brand that everybody used? Was it Nyko?
Game Shark or something.
Well, Game Shark was like the cheat system. See, like this is why we're
Game Genie. Game Genie.
No, well, Game Genie too, but that was like Nintendo. But there was Game Shark too. It was the same thing. But no, what was the off-brand controllers? What would they? Would start with an N. There was a Nyko. What the hell were they called?
Nyko was one.
Nyko was one
because they ended up making the peripherals for like Xbox later, like the chargers.
Yeah, like all the other stuff. They were always like the third-party company. But like, what was the other company? There was one other one. What was it? We're literally bringing it back. We're bringing it back right now because it's going to drive me nuts now. You're going to look it up?
You can talk. I'll look it up. Yeah.
Okay, everybody's looking it up. All right. But yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like all of us, like, and you know, not to get too distracted too. One thing that I want to chime in here. But you know, this podcast is going to be all over the place. It's us having fun and enjoying ourselves and really bringing the entertainment factor of being distracted and how much we are passionate about being gamers and anime and comic books and movies and TV shows and the latest streaming technology and the newest consoles and, you know, oh my God, Halo's coming out, or oh my God, this game's coming out, or this game sucks, or we love this, you know, like we're going to talk about it and we are not going to hold back. We are literally going to tell exactly how we feel. And we don't want anybody to get offended by that. But the point of this is to really chime in. And we want all of you guys to definitely put your feedback down below. Definitely, if you have any questions for us to hit topics on in the YouTube channel, make sure you guys do it down below. And also, too, the big thing here is that one thing that I didn't say, how I met these two. And it is very important of how we started this podcast. So basically, Hypermynd, which he's going to introduce himself here in a second, we actually met through somebody else and just ended up chatting and talking. And I used to have another company and we kind of built a relationship through that end. But then we started building the Lost City, and the Lost City is basically my community and my whole brand. And we have all kind of developed into this giant brand entity. And Hypermynd is the creative mastermind behind all of that. He built it all in the Unreal Engine. The whole thing is so amazingly cool, and it is next level. Like there is no other stream like it. And we're trying to bring Pardon the Distraction into that, because even the background here is kind of a take on some of that, and we're kind of rolling everything in. But the Pardon the Distraction brand, all of our stuff is always going to be promoted on all three of our channels at all times. Even when we're streaming, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be promoting it. And for everybody tuning in for the first time, if you've never been here before, or, well, nobody has because this is the first episode, but if you've ever been in any of our channels, either on Twitch or, you know, TikTok or wherever you're coming from, our goal here is to really bring home the nerd, the love, the passion for gaming, and that is what we're all about. So I'll let Hypermynd introduce himself so you guys can actually get to know him a little bit better. But that's how we all kind of met. We met through each other through the Lost City development, and Hypermynd knowing Andy forever. So we'll go ahead and let him talk. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and just to touch on that too, like we obviously we want people to comment on the videos and have their input on YouTube using the comment system. But at the same time, like all three of us live stream, we would love to have people come through the live stream and talk to us about the podcast. Like, come by, like, ask questions, have your input. Be like, hey, you know, I heard what Drake said about Naraka on the first episode, and I thought that was really cool. So, you know, whatever. Like, just come by, talk to us. That'd be great. We'd love to have, more people in all our channels. It'd be fantastic. Just, we love talking. Like, that's why
we want to
here.
know more about you guys. Like, it's not just about us. That's why we're doing it. We want more people to be interactive with us, because most podcasts, they just talk amongst their groups. We're going to bring on celebrities. We're going to be bringing on other content creators. We're going to be bringing a lot of people from the industry, from different aspects. Maybe they're a game developer. Maybe they're an artist. Maybe they're literally somebody high up in Microsoft. Maybe they're an actual actor that you guys all know and love from like a CW show. We don't know what we're going to be doing. We're literally just going to be doing the best we can and bringing the best content we know how. And that's just basically by having you guys as an audience. So the more that you guys interact, the more that you chime in, the more that this will evolve and adapt to you guys. And we're all going to have our own individual segments as well. We're all going to do our own unique takes on things that we're extremely passionate that we may not be able to fit into the podcast individually on our own YouTube channels, which we're actually all going to start, believe next week. We're going full out on YouTube because we really want to make a presence here and make sure that we're bringing new content that most people, may have got somewhere else, but we are a different take because we are our own people. So like we definitely want to build up that community base with all of you guys. So Hypermynd, I know you didn't really get to introduce yourself in full extent, so go ahead. I know I keep interrupting you, so there you go.
No, you're good. Here
This is a common distraction.
Yeah, we're always distracted.
Yeah, I pardon your distraction.
I pardon.
No, I am Hypermynd, and I am the 3D artist behind the Lost City, as well as the artwork that you see on quite a few other channels as well. I've worked with Andy actually for a long time as a graphic artist. We worked together for numerous years. I ended up getting laid off during COVID. So now here I am chasing a new dream. And honestly, like it's been a wild experience. And we're doing wonderful, wonderful things with it. So, we're exploring new territory, and it's been a wild ride. We're having a good time. So I used to play hockey. I used to actually at a professional level. I used to play hockey, so that was fun. So I've got a strong passion for the NHL series. I played NHL 94 when it first came out, not to date myself.
That's a great game.
Just to, reiterate how old we are.
Drake, you're not much of a sports gamer, are you? All right.
Okay, look.
Sports fan, I'm not a sports gamer.
Look, sports fan, I definitely love sports. I love football. I love the NFL. I'm a big football guy. And you know what? Like I used to play street hockey because I lived in Arizona, so obviously we didn't have ice. But we definitely used to play street hockey, rollerblades, and we had nets and hockey pucks across the the street. But back in the Wayne Gretzky days. But even so, at the end of the day, like when it comes to sports games, I've never been a very passionate person about streaming them, because I feel like it's a very tight-knit community. Unless you know everything about the game, it's just there's no point of doing it. And I'm a all or nothing type person. That's just the way I am, and I like to bring as much knowledge as I can. And if I don't know, like that's what I have friends for, because then they come and be like, "Hey, do this," and I'm like, "All right, cool." But
I do think though, Hyper, that NHL 94 was like the spark to me, like because I never really played sports games all that much too until
not even
94, dude. On the what was the Super NES, I think it was.
Sega Genesis.
No, Tecmo was original NES, man.
No, I'm saying
that 94 hockey NHL.
Ooh, NHL 94 was like the turning point for sports games. It was like the first one that really made it into you could tell they could make a simulator from it.
Yeah.
Right. It was the first time that it felt like the game. And that, like, if you just look at it, even now, this year in NHL 21, they still have brought back an NHL 94 rewind mode with today's rosters, but in the style of NHL 94. Like that game it's iconic
that impactful.
For sports titles, and FIFA just follows suit. Right, FIFA, Madden, all of them. They just follow.
Yeah, they definitely all kind of hit their niche, and then that's where those brands became like really prominent, like NCAA, and even Tecmo Bowl died out, but then Madden picked up where it left off, and You know, there was so many games. Which NCAA is coming back, which I'm really actually excited about that. But just in general though, like, you know, to answer your original question, is like, honestly, like, sports games are not ones that I stream live, but I definitely still play them offline. You know, I definitely still dive into Madden every now and again. And, you know, Madden hasn't changed too much over the last couple of years, which is unfortunate, but but it's still, you know, it's still a football game, you know, like, it's still good to like play a game when you're missing some football and, you know, you don't have Sunday to tune in. You can play some games with your friends over the big screen, you know? So that's, you know, that's kind of the way, like, I grew up in a different era. Like, I know I keep dating myself here, and a lot of people don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Like LAN parties where we literally just connected everything up with a cable. Oh, yeah. We didn't have internet. We literally connected up with each other. We had to bring the systems over and all the controllers, and we would play. I still talk about this, like, on Halo 1 with Xbox Connect. That was like the first online experience, and we had to take the original Xbox, hook it up to this old makeshift server, and we would have to find groups to play with. And that was like Xbox Live before it was Xbox Live. I mean, it really was. Like, nobody
created Xbox Live.
I mean, it really did. Like, a lot of people took it because Halo was such a big game, and I played Halo 2 professionally, and that was a big jump for me. Like, Halo was the birth of me loving most of the Bungie style type games. And then not only that, but just like first person shooters in general started there. Like, a lot of people will argue that, but I really think that Halo took first person shooters to the next level. It wasn't Counter-Strike or all these other ones. I really believe it was Halo. Halo was like the one that really got everybody excited about multiplayer online games. So
I think the argument would be that Halo made it mainstream.
Yeah, Halo definitely made it mainstream. Yeah. Maybe not the best, but it was at the time it wasn't the best, because Counter-Strike was good. Yeah, it was huge. It was a big. It was like Fortnite of back then.
I didn't get into like multiplayer until, like, I was always just a like couch co-op kind of person. Yeah. Until
GoldenEye was true multiplayer.
Like, I think Battlefield Bad Company.
Oh my God, Bad Company is so good too.
That was one of my favorite shooter games. That kind of got me into the shooter genre, and like, and that was one. And honestly, first multiplayer that I did with Hypermynd. Like, which that was Ghost, I think it was, or
Ghost. You know what? Like, Ghost gets a bad rap. I honestly think, like, other than Modern Warfare 2, Ghost was my favorite. I really do. I know that's a strong statement. A lot of people were like, Modern Warfare 2 was so good. So was Modern Warfare 3. But, like, legitimately, there was something about Ghost that I loved. And so many people hated. They're like, "Oh, bring Black Ops," and I was like, "Bleh." Like, I don't know, man. Ghost was just so good. It was just so good.
Man. The little German Shepherd.
Well, I mean, the German Shepherd was dope too. Right. But just in general though, it was good. It was good.
Where is that when it falls in the Call of Duty? It's like the fourth or fifth?
I think it's Call like the seventh.
Oh, it's actually down the line.
Ghost. Yeah, no, Ghost. It was like, so we had Call of Duty 4, then we had, which was the first Modern Warfare.
That was the one that got me hooked. That was
the one with the Ferris wheel. Remember when you went to, was it Chernobyl? Was that where we went? Yeah. Where the Ferris wheel? Mm-hmm. That map was so dope. But then you had
dope.
But they didn't start that 3-year cycle thing where they did like every year. It was Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games, and then Infinity Ward. That didn't start until I think like after, I want to say, Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 was the start of that. But then
Treyarch's first
that was their first one, right? That was their first one. And then Zombies is what kind of sparked a whole nother thing in itself, which I won't even get into that because I can't stand that goddamn game. But that's
in World at War.
Yeah, it was World at War for that one. But I'm saying in general. No, I did. It was World at War.
Who made it?
That was Sledgehammer, I believe.
Let's look it up.
Now look it up. Now we need to know.
That's up.
Write it down and jot it down. No, but like legitimately though, like anybody who played Call of Duty over the years, we all know the state of Call of Duty now. We won't dive into that right now. That's a whole nother
episode in itself.
That's an episode in itself. The Activision, Blizzard stuff. We don't even want to get into that stuff right now. We're gonna touch on a couple Blizzard games in this podcast too, but that will be because it is actually happening right now. Yeah. Right now, 10 a.m. this morning. Blizzard launched the first alpha for Diablo. And if you pre-ordered it, you get to jump in. It's 8-player multiplayer co-op, which is the first. That's just insane. That's going to be great for streamers. But right now, with all the stigma, are you going to stream it or are you not going to stream it? Like, and that's something that a lot of people don't even really, is that going to happen? But we'll get into that. That's a little bit down the podcast. But yeah. So like I said, like this is going to be a plethora of good, knowledgeable information of all the new movies. Today, actually, Titans just came out, DC, because we're going to be talking about
just started
season 3. 3 episodes just dropped, and I haven't watched any of them yet. Have you guys watched them yet?
No.
No, I've actually. I was about to say.
You haven't watched it at all?
I have not.
Oh my God.
Titans
all right. So
I'm going to binge watch it for the next one. Yeah.
So anybody that knows me, all right. So I'm a big comic nerd. I literally grew up with DC and Marvel. I'm more of a Marvel fan. And I will say this right now. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hate this guy already. But legitimately, here's the thing. When it comes to DC, the comic books were good. But the movies, not so much. I'm not a fan of them, but the animated series, and I know we can all agree on this, all the DC animated series and shows are fantastic. They are so good. Now, there are some good DC movies. We all grew up, watching the old school Batmans. If you're really, really old, and no offense to anybody out there, but Adam West was Batman. There's so many different genres of Batman and different variations of him now. It's kind of hard to keep track of all of them, to be honest. But and same with Superman. We literally there's been so many different renditions, and everybody immediately is going to say Christopher Lloyd.
But then again, there also has been a lot of really good Marvel animated shows. Like
lately,
you can't take away the 90s X-Men.
No.
Okay, look, that was a different era. Okay, the Spider-Man and X-Men in the 90s was amazing. And anybody who hasn't watched it, if you're younger and you never got to watch Disney Plus, go watch that right now. It's so good.
When was the original Spider-Man series, the cartoon that was on TV, the one that you always see the GIF where they're pointing at each other? Was that
the original, like 70s? The old school one? That was the 70s or 60s. It might even be even sooner than that, dude.
I love
that. Was a long. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Show
way before our time.
Fantastic. Spider-Man was like of Marvel. Spider-Man was my favorite for the longest time.
See, okay, now on this topic, this is totally. Look, here we go again.
Pause.
All right.
Pause. World at War was Treyarch.
It was Treyarch?
It was Treyarch. So
I was right.
So
no, I said Sledgehammer. Never mind.
I said Sledgehammer, but that's Treyarch has always done zombies, and that's where zombies first showed up, was World at War.
That makes sense. And they made that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's kind of,
and everybody in the Call of Duty community is be like, oh, we already hate these guys. But look, we don't even know a game. Like, how many Call of Duty games have we had? I mean, it's like they're yeah.
Well, there's just so many.
Well, that's why I asked where Ghost was, because I was like, I don't even know where.
I think Ghost. Well, so do you have the list of how they came out? Did you pull that up or no?
No, but I grabbed it
in order. Yeah, I'm sure.
Ghost was right before. What was it? Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare, and that we can all agree was kind of weird.
All right, we got Call of Duty. I
will say this right now. I want Blackout to come back. That was the best multiplayer BR on the market. I loved it. I don't know why they took that away. I don't like Warzone.
Yep. So you had.
Oh wow! Ghost was way. It was after Black Ops 2.
Yeah, it was a while down, dude. That's what I was saying. So what was the order? Read it off, because I know you haven't.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Roads to Victory.
That was probably a mobile game.
Yeah. Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, Ghost, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, World War 2, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare. They throw Warzone in there, and then Cold War.
And then Black Ops Cold War, and now we're going World War 2 again.
Vanguard, which is called Vanguard. That's the new name. from what I've read online, right? Am I correct about that?
I don't
Does it
know.
say
I
anything?
haven't seen anything about it.
Look it up. Put Call of Duty Vanguard. I think that's what it's called, and that's the one it is going back to World War II. So anyway, where we were going with this whole discussion is Vanguard. Okay, yeah, because there's been little hints and seeks, and there's actually some leaks. Actually, I read this morning about it. That it looks very promising. Like a lot of people are actually really excited about it, and it's so different than all the other Call of Duties, which is definitely what we need. We need a new Call of Duty. Like I love. Okay, look, I love Call of Duty, but it has gotten to a state where it's just with the negative stigma of the PR stuff right now, and a lot of people don't even want to touch it because we want to encourage and support people. We don't want to leave it to the point where we're like, all right, well, do we discourage and leave behind the people that actually develop these games because they work their butts off to make these games. But also at the flip side of this, right? Like all of us grew up with first person shooters. We all loved them. And if you don't, you're an RPG guy. I am too. I'm a big RPG. My favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII. Still to this day. Obviously the remake is amazing, and I've worked with Square Enix on these games, and I love story. I love story-based content. I always have. So when they started taking campaigns out of the multiplayer, people are like, "Oh, I don't care about that." Like Battlefield just did that again. Call of Duty did it. It did not work. So it'll be interesting to see how Battlefield. They said that it's going to be infused in the multiplayer, kind of like Titanfall 1 was, but that was still didn't even hit the mark. So there's so many games we can jump around and we can talk about all these things.
If it's going to be World War II, though, how are they going to infuse that into
Warzone?
They already have, yeah.
Like I don't think Warzone is going to be a thing. I think that's going to go away. I think it's going to be, or they're just going to convert Warzone into the current.
Just follow suit.
Maybe they'll take it over, just like what they're currently doing, and they take it over and start working on that. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's such a mess.
It's going to be. Really
there is nothing more frustrating.
There's nothing. What makes it hard.
So let me ask you this: all of you guys who have a new generation console, I have a Series X. Do you have a Series X, Andy? No,
I do not.
Okay, so you're a PC guy, right, man?
I have my original Xbox One on my desk.
Oh, you have the old brick. Got it.
Black one.
And I know Hypermynd has a Series X. I know that because when he got his, he was so excited.
It still works, by the way.
But I'm just gonna say this: like after literally sitting down and seeing the amount of data that you have to download to play just one of those games.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is so disgusting compared to every other game. Like it takes up your whole hard drive, and it's not just one, because then you like load up Warzone. It's like, oh, you can't play this because you haven't downloaded the map packs for a game that you don't play in Cold War. You're like, what? I thought this game was free. I don't know. It's so confusing what they've done, and maybe that's just me. Maybe that's I don't know. A lot of people don't have that problem, but I hate it.
Shaders.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on updating shaders before I gotta play a game.
Instead of selling the disc, they should sell a hard drive with it preloaded, and you just plug in your hard drive.
Well, I mean, we're in that. Geez, we won't like the expansion bays for the Series X, $219, and the system is $500. It's like, dude, that's half the cost of the system.
Insane.
It's insane. And now people are starting to come out with. Seagate just came out one for the PS5, and now they're starting to come out with other ones too, which is good.
Can the PS5? Because I know with the older versions of the PlayStation, the hard drives were kind of like iffy to plug into them. I know it didn't. I know the Xbox you can plug them in, and
it didn't. It was an update that they I think just recently put into.
Are you pigeonholed to get a PlayStation hard drive?
So that was that's the thing is it was a specific type of hard drive, not so much the brand. It was more so the specific type, and they were so expensive at the time because it's also around the same time that the pandemic happened. Things started getting shortage. Things weren't being able to made. Chipsets weren't being able to made. They weren't being able to be distributed from China and anywhere else that they came from. And so basically everything kind of went. And that's also why we have such a huge limited stock of Series X, Series S, because the Bluetooth chips, like even in phones, you go to buy a brand new phone, you can't even get them there on back order right now because of the Bluetooth chips. So it's like there's all these different things that obviously add to variables in that. So, but today, I'm going to throw a total curveball at you guys. Today, the first batch of merch came out for Far From Home for the new Spider-Man. We still have not got a trailer for it, but in the t-shirt designs, it literally is looking like it is 50% of the populace believes Spider-Man and supports Peter Parker. For anybody who hasn't seen the movie, at the end, Mysterio.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler. But literally at the end of that movie, Mysterio outs him and basically says, "Hey, he's Peter Parker," and he does it live to the entire world. Well, supposedly on these T-shirts, it's showing we believe in Mysterio, and so people are starting to think that the world is divided, that they believe Mysterio, the bad guy, and then the other half is believing Spider-Man, Peter Parker. But there's also all of the T-shirts have Doctor Strange and Spider-Man on every single T-shirt, and it's split down the middle. So it looks like he is a main character, just like kind of like Iron Man was in the first one. And he is basically, they're time traveling together or going through the multiverse together, which we already kind of speculated already as it is, because there is so much that is being discussed about this, about, all right, how are they bringing Electro? How are they bringing Doc Ock? Because they've already been confirmed that they are coming back. And we're talking Jamie Foxx Electro. We're talking Doc Ock. What was the actor's name that played Doc Ock? He's amazing. I love that guy. I can't think of his name though, right off the top of my head.
An Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah, an Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, the original, the OG, the first three with Tobey Maguire. Yeah, the Doc Ock from that. But anyway, so he's coming back, and then there's now rumors that, we got Andrew Garfield, he's going to be in the movie, and then there's also going to be Tobey Maguire in the movie along with Tom Holland, so all three. But these costumes that they're showing, it actually shows Spider-Man in a black and white outfit, and he's shooting his spider webs, but instead of spider webs, he's shooting portals, like Doctor Strange portals.
Oh, interesting.
It looks weird.
Wow.
It is insane looking, and definitely maybe we can maybe pull this up post credit or something, and we can pull it up and show you guys. But it's just so crazy how this looks, and it just looks so. Yeah, we can put a link to it so you guys can check it out. But like, these things are so cool, and we haven't even got a trailer. We still got Shang-Chi coming out, which the 10 Rings, that looks so good. What If just started, which if you guys have not seen What If, all three of us have watched it. We're going to talk about that here in a second. And then also, right after that, we got the Eternals in November. And then we have Spider-Man after that. We also have Hawkeye this year, which is going to
Is Hawkeye this year?
Hawkeye is this year, and also Miss Marvel, which is going to go into Kamala Khan. So we're going to get all this year.
Oh,
No, those are,
January.
they haven't gave solid dates, but they are this year. Hawkeye just got the release date, but they are all this year unless they change it. But for right now, that's what is.
Let's
slated.
be honest,
And then Venom. But that
And Venom.
and it got pushed.
That got pushed back today.
what was the official pushback today? What was the pushback on that?
It's gone to October 24th, or it got pushed back 2 weeks. I think it's down to like October 17th.
It was supposed to come out in September and it got pushed back to October.
All right, so a month isn't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. At least it's not pushed back into 2021. And let's just all be real. Everybody's excited about Carnage.
Oh yeah.
Carnage is my favorite villain.
October.
And the fact that
he's my favorite. Out of
Woody
any comic
Harrelson,
book, he is my favorite.
He's gonna do so good. Acting.
Woody Harrelson
I love Woody
as
Harrelson.
Carnage. I mean, the guy is a great actor, but he's so crazy that it's perfect for him. Like, being a psychopath serial killer is the perfect role for Woody Harrelson. I mean, it really is.
Okay,
Like,
I'm gonna put you on the spot, both of you. When do you think that Venom will appear in the MCU, or do you think he'll appear in the MCU?
okay, so this.
The only way, it's tough. The only way they could do it is it's got to be through Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, right?
It has to be through Spider-Man, and Spider-Man now, because he's only signed up for how many? Holland.
So here's the thing.
Spider-Man movie is his contract.
Kevin Feige literally officially stated that no actors are going to have multi-sign contract deals going forward, especially after the Black Widow debacle.
Yeah.
And so people are going to be movie by movie, so they can change out the characters if they want. I don't really agree with that, because I think that's what made the Marvel Cinematic Universe so amazing, because we could rely on the same characters and they never changed them. Because I will tell you, still, when you watch Iron Man 1, and Rhodes changed in Iron Man 2, it was a different Rhodes.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I loved the first Rhodes better. And that's nothing against either one of the actors. It's just literally he was perfect for that role. He had a little bit more comedy to him and a little bit more like sexiness in a way that like he matched Tony Stark. You know what I mean? Like just the charisma, I guess you could say. He had a swag to him. Whereas in what's
Don Cheadle's the new one.
Don Cheadle, yeah. So like he's not as swaggery,
and he's short.
I guess. Well, I don't care about but he just really just isn't. He isn't like he doesn't portray like that same Tony Stark vibe, whereas in the other actor did. So like that, but it like switching up those characters, it was so subtle because that was when the MCU really started. Tony Stark, and that buildup of his character made the MCU. Without that movie, nothing, we would have never got any of this stuff that we're excited about now. Literally, Robert Downey Jr. is the reason why we have the MCU. Because if he wouldn't have had a killer performance in that movie, we would have kept getting the Incredible Hulk movies.
Yeah, and those are.
Did you see that tweet that went out? Like the one.
Which one?
Well, Matt Damon made a reference to. It was just an example, but he's like, actors are interchangeable. Like people, you need to fall in love with the character, not with the actor. And there was so much backlash because there was like, if you put anyone else, and he referenced Iron Man. He said anyone could have been Iron Man, type of thing. And there was so much backlash because everyone said if you put anyone else in that role, there's no MCU.
So
I think the same thing with Wolverine. Like
Wolverine and Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds. There's nobody else that could be Deadpool.
No one could do it. Yeah.
Nobody else. Ryan Reynolds was made for that part, and he is that character. He is that character off screen. Like even in his advertisements, the way he talks. Like even in Free Guy, the new movie that's coming out literally today. That which is also a skin in Fortnite, if you guys didn't see that. Literally, they're making the dude. They're making the dude, the big yoked out version of him. Like that is, they made him the character, and there's like a whole character arc in Fortnite. So
do they just have like a running tab with these studios of like?
No, they have to. Like literally, it has to be the biggest licensing contract department in history. Their legal has to be so on point for that because there's so many characters in that game. It has to be the biggest crossover universe ever. Fortnite has got that on lock. Like people may bash on that game.
It is the metaverse.
It is the metaverse. I mean, you got Master Chief. When did you ever think you were going to see Master Chief and Kratos in the same fucking universe?
And Morty fighting against Morty.
Or Morty. Yeah, Morty is a hammer. Yeah, well, no, literally Rick is in it, but Morty is a hammer in the game. You know what I mean? And then Ariana Grande has a concert in it. You're like, what? What is happening right now? Like, you know, you have Deadmau5 doing a concert, and you're like, what is happening?
That was event. I will say that game, you know, and I know we're probably getting
a lot of people hate on it.
That game, I'm not like I like playing it every once in a while. I can't play it like all the time.
Yeah, like, me too.
To me, that game engulfs you in the community more than any game out there. To me, like you've got all these. I mean,
you got 5-year-olds playing it.
Although they're kind of crazy,
70-year-olds playing it.
Those live events are unreal. Some of the like the cinematic part of what you're doing, the freaking black.
Did you guys see the Ariana Grande concert?
I didn't. I wasn't available.
It's literally a giant Ariana Grande swinging on a swing while you're surfing on paint in a half pipe, going underneath her, and she's doing her concert, and then you like blow up in a rift, and then she's walking upstairs, and it's like it looks like a Rorschach paint. It was nuts.
God, that sounds like a dream I've had.
Well, yeah, but look, let's step away from that. All right, maybe we might have Ariana Grande on this podcast one day, and she'll never come on here if you're creeping.
Like a video game on acid.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's.
But you know what I mean? Like, who would have thunk it? You know, back in the day when you're gonna have a star do or two, or the Travis Scott thing, the same thing.
Yeah, the Travis Scott thing. Yeah,
being able to
that
have
was
a
crazy
concert and in a video game, or the Star Wars thing. I mean, we go back to that too, like this Star Wars trailer inside a video game.
Yeah,
like, that
yeah.
is insane.
But they had J.J. Abrams. They had J.J. Abrams come into the game and come out
Lupo
on stage and talk to you, and then and he's referencing creators that are watching it. He's like, oh, I see Dr. Lupo. Like, I see all. It was insane the way they did that. And I honestly believe they are literally paving the way for what we saw in Ready Player One.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's a.
I mean, that's literally the future of video games.
That's exact. That
we all be real. That's going to happen eventually.
That is the future of the environment that we are headed for. And
as long as we don't
building that structure.
Look, as long as we don't end up like WALL-E and we end up like Ready Player One, I'm okay with it. Because all those WALL-E people, man, everybody jacked into their chairs and they never left.
I kind of already look like some of those guys.
You look like WALL-E?
No, it's some of the guys that are just sitting there.
I was trying to be nice. I was trying to segue out.
You know, it's another game that has those Jesus. Another game that has that same sort of licensing is Rocket League.
Yeah, Rocket League has had a lot.
But they've had the Warthog, they've had the DeLorean,
it's literally
they've had the Batmobile.
It's Hot Wheels on crack. That's literally what it is. It's Hot Wheels on crack.
Yes, but it still has that metaverse.
It's crazy how many people still play that game.
Oh, my kids love that game.
Like so many, but I honestly think there's a lot of people that still are diehard. They're still in Rocket League tournaments, and there's so many people. And if one thing that happened from the pandemic, you know, and I'm going to dive into this too, just a little bit. One thing that happened with the pandemic is how many people came together offline and online during the pandemic. Look at TikTok and its boom. Look at video games and how much they boomed, even though we didn't have a lot of video games in 2020 because everybody couldn't even make them.
Right.
Yeah.
But then people were also more skeptical and they were more alienated. And not only that, but 2020 was just a hot mess. We can all agree on that. But just also on the flip side of the whole setup of 2020, you got games that came out and everybody was waiting for them forever. And they came out and they weren't what we were expecting. But because everybody was home and everybody was expecting these great games that were so molded and talked about forever, and they weren't what we were expecting, man, the backlash. I know. Look, Cyberpunk, I will say this right now, and I will defend the developers until I die. That game had so much potential. And even now, they're still working on it to make it better. I did not have the problems that so many other people did.
Yeah.
I had a Series X. I played it. I enjoyed it. I had people with literally brand new graphics cards that couldn't even play the game. I don't know because I didn't experience that. But at the end of it, the big key was that they continued to work on it into 2021. And now here we are, and people are enjoying the game more than they ever have. They actually said that a lot of people are coming back to play it because they wanted to get all the bugs fixed and everything else. And that happened with Avengers too. Avengers next week has the expansion that was supposed to come out, but obviously Chadwick passed away, unfortunately, and they didn't want to bring up any of that for his family or any of the fans because it was so close to home. And he was Black Panther. There's another person that was perfect for that character.
Yeah. You talk about Cyberpunk and Avengers, like to me, and even like Destiny and, you know, Grand Theft Auto, let's say, like you've got all these games that like the companies are still poised, and they're still Europe. Trust me, I'm sure you're already.
I'm already chomping at the bit to attack.
Warm in that. No, but like,
I was warm 2 hours ago.
But no, I'm saying like I love to see when the companies are actually still putting out content and still trying to develop the game, and like, and I think that's what some of the frustration is with like Call of Duty and Warzone. It's like all these people are crying for an anti-cheat, crying for this or that and the other, and they're just like, Screw it. I'm good.
We're not,
you know what I mean? And then you've got but then you have like Cyberpunk who goes, all right, guys, listen, I know this was bad. It came off really bad. We're gonna do everything we can to make it to fix it. Right?
Was another one like that.
Yes, and so you've
Outriders
got like
was another game like
all
that.
these bugs and all these things or whatever it may be. And look, I get it. You know, you test the game as much as you can. There may be something out there that doesn't you overlooked or whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden, you know, you've got, you know, a guy walking and that lower half of his body is 2 feet behind him. You know what I mean? And it ruins the experience. But to me, you're going to push for it.
Especially if you're a content creator, though, that's funny moments for a content creator. Now, if you're offline just playing the game as just a everyday person who just wants to play the game to experience the story, that's where I could understand, which there's a lot more of those than there are streamers. There are a lot more casual people that just literally pick up the game and wants to play it with their mom or dad, or they just picked it up because, oh, it's a new game and I want to buy it. There is way more people than streaming. And you know, I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of those people that literally was a completionist. I would complete every single game. I'm almost up to 200,000 gamer score. But that slowed down so dramatically when I became a streamer, because I could never finish games because it was always on to the next. Yeah. It was always on to the next game.
It feels like, and the rate and pace at which these things come out, it's very difficult when you're trying to stay relevant. But the fact of the matter is you create your own relevancy by the content that you make with what you have, right? So to a degree, right? I understand, like, when the new game comes out, like, everybody's got to be on it, that type of thing. But you see it with streamers all the time. You go back to something that's old. There are people that, like, you go back and you stream Fallout, you'll have an influx of people that show up because
they love that game.
Because they love that game and they're craving it and they want to see it. Now, just to hit back to Cyberpunk real quick, you're talking about, like, they know they botched it and they said, look, like, we're going to do everything we can. Now, the thing that went on the back burner with Cyberpunk is multiplayer, right? Because that game is slated to have multiplayer. Now, they've referenced things similar.
They did say that it's coming.
They haven't said it's not coming. But
they did say that it is coming now. They did say that.
They've had to go back and they have to redraw the way that
that's what she said.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Oh, right.
Bad joke.
Wow. Like, you have to just force it in. That's what she said.
Wow. All right.
Okay. Anyway, point being, now, I saw an article, it was hypothetical, but once multiplayer gets added and you have that server capability.
Surfer or server?
Server.
Okay, got it.
Once you have that server capability, it opens the door for the potential for RP. Now,
which would be really cool.
RP would actually create the environment that they initially marketed that you would be able to do, because the whole concept was live in Night City and live this story out the way that you want it to be. But you weren't able to do that in the game that was currently presented. It was a lot more linear than that.
Yeah.
But do you think that if Cyberpunk were to come out in multiplayer and an RP came out, that it would just dominate?
Oh, I would love it.
And for anybody who doesn't know what RP is, can you explain what that is? Because it
is a role play modification that is applied to the game. So Grand Theft Auto currently has an RP or a role playing mode that you can sign up for, register for through various servers that allow you to actually role play within the game. You can take on a character of your choice. It can be whatever role you want, but you are living inside the world of Grand Theft Auto. And you could be a jeweler, you could be a car thief, you could be a cashier, you can, whatever it is that you want to do inside of that world, you can do. So
it's amazing.
It's quite incredible what they've been able to do with it. So being able to take that same concept and apply it to a cyberpunk environment with the game mechanics that Cyberpunk has, with the traversal and the driving and everything else that Cyberpunk has, that those mechanics,
that would be so fun.
I personally think it would blow up that game to be bigger than what we originally even anticipated from the original marketing that they said it would be.
Well, because it will allow anybody to create their own story instead of just having to follow the same path that originally came out. You know,
and that was a beautiful game too. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it was
minus some of the bugs, it was gorgeous.
Yeah,
It's absolutely stunning environment.
yeah.
I mean,
it was probably one of the coolest.
Huge Cyberpunk fan, so that obviously appeals to me. I mean, Drake, Cyberpunk, like I modeled this city in Cyberpunk, so that whole concept that's what we're shooting for, and to see that city, like when you're in that city and the traffic's moving and you're being force fed advertisements, and it's all, keep in mind these are all fictional products inside the Cyberpunk world. And
that don't mean anything. That nobody even knows what they are or what but they literally know what they are.
Full marketing campaigns for fictional products inside a video game. Like that's how much detail that game carries.
Yeah.
So it's really incredible, and I hope it bounces back.
How big of a game was that? Like size wise, gigabytes? Like it was monster, wasn't it? Was it more than like Call of Duty, or
was that big?
I think it was like 40. I think it was 40.
I never played it because I knew as soon as I went to go play it, all those bugs came out, and I was like, well, I'm.
Well, you know what? Look, I've always been a firm believer, and this is something that I will definitely hold true. Like I don't listen to reviews anymore, unless it's like really bad. Fifth Element, which is my favorite movie of all time. That movie tanked when I was a kid. But I love that movie. And it's even now, it's like a cult classic. Like everybody loves both of those movies, and they had a bigger following after they came out. And now they're like, oh, let's make another one, 20 years later. There's so many games that are just fantastic out there that people get wrapped around and absorbed into. And that is the passion that you're going to love and you're going to see in content. Like if you're playing a game that you're not enjoying, if you're not enjoying it and you don't like it, like that's going to portray in your face.
I think too,
it shows 100%. And I think, do you find, because I mean, Andy and I have had this conversation so many times. Do you find that gaming has become, for you personally, a lot more of a social activity than a personal activity?
Oh yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
I honestly cannot play a game offline anymore. I feel weird.
It feels
disconnected. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about like single player games and like campaigns and stuff like that, and like
I love those.
We used to dive into those a lot, but now like when we go to play a game, it's like, oh well, what are my buddies playing? And then we'll go play that. You know what I mean?
Well, so I'll give you a prime game right now. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
There you go. That's one. But
so that's a single player game.
I can't tell you how many times I've sat down to play a campaign game
and can't finish it.
Not even that. I sit down to play a campaign game, and then I see Andy's on.
Yeah, so you go jump and play Apex.
Oh, you want to go play Call of Duty? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
because then I get to talk to my buddy.
Yeah, true.
And I played a lot of campaigns alongside other people too. So I would have friends where like with Assassin's Creed,
I'd say the Republic.
Yeah, there you go. Like I would play. We would sit in a party and chat, and then we're each playing like our own version of the game, right? Because it's a single player, like you can't do anything else. Oh, where are you at? Oh, I'm about to assassinate the queen, whatever. Great, that's awesome. Let me know when you're through it, or if you need help or whatever, because I just did it 2 hours ago. So it's like it's that, but that was like that's the closest I could get to playing a campaign now.
Yeah,
I can't do it on my by myself. I can't just sit down by myself because I feel like I should be doing something else.
And why haven't they made more co-op campaigns?
Yeah, that's that. Okay, look, this is gonna get me heated real quick. All right, I know. No, I gotta chime in. You definitely got me worked up. No, you really did. So look, I do understand, and any game developer that is listening to this podcast here now or forever, all right, literally, please make more games. Yeah, well, look, punch, it's all in the mind. If you can test me, I'll show you fine. Go teachers, go to beach, and nevertheless, listen us from teaching out. Well, yeah, there we go. See, look, I still remember. All right, so look, but legitimately though, why aren't there more co-op games? Right? Look, so Diablo, which comes out today for the beta, right?
Yes,
8-player co-op. It is the first game to have an 8-player co-op. You know how amazing that's going to be for streaming? 8 friends. You don't have to be like, oh, sorry, bro, you can't jump in. You're gonna have to wait
Yeah, we
No,
only
you
have a clan
jump
of
in
4.
8 people.
And I
Like
mean,
the 4, and then
I know I don't have more than 8 friends,
look,
so
well, you have at least 3 here, so you're fine. And one
But
of
you
them
don't
is
need-
your
you don't need the
subconscious.
friends. You just need the one friend that has a bunch of other people that are going to play.
Yeah.
Right. So between
me.
between the 3 of us, if you're streaming, I'm streaming, Drake's streaming.
Yeah.
Right? And we all
have friends.
We've
We all
all
have
got
community.
2 people.
Yeah. There's 8.
One person's got to sit out because we got 9.
Well, but here's the thing, Lo. So like a game like that, like
that's
8
one
people, right?
bastard.
8 people. 8 people. Like that's so great. But like, here's the thing I don't understand. Why are they restricting from 4 down to 3? What are these 3-person group co-op games now? I don't understand. Why are there 3?
Dunno,
What
Destiny?
made you like Destiny? It like look,
That's
Destiny
infuriating.
Destiny
In a world
has 4-player activities, but I don't understand why it's not 4. Is it because it's too overpowered for the game? Because the mechanics would be broken if you went with 4 people into a strike? It would make it more fun. It would make it more fun, or bump up the difficulty for the actual level when you play with more people, like Diablo does.
yeah, the more
That's what
people are
they do.
in, the more
people, you get more experience, you get more loot, you get more cool stuff. Why don't they do that in every game? Developers, all of you developers, you work hard. We love you. More
Figure it out.
co-op games. And I know everybody that watches this podcast is going to say the same thing. They're going to be like, yeah, more co-op games. We're sick and tired of these single player crap games. We want boo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Like, look, I'm just going to say this right now.
There it
like,
is.
more. I
That's
had
what
to
we
do it. I
wanted.
had to do it one time. The beep-a-doop-a-dee. Oh, like, look, I'm just going to say this right now. More co-op games. When your friends get left out and you can't play with your friends, or you can't play with somebody that's in your community, or your wife and your kid want to play with you and they can't even play because you're playing a 2-player co-op game and your kid has to sit out and eat Snickers on the side and be sad. That's not fun. That's not fun. More co-op games.
Can I tell
More
you what
co-op
was
games.
infuriating about Destiny to me? Is when I'm in a group of 3 people running around. We can't fit any more people in our little group, but yet we're running around in this world where there's
other
teams
groups are.
floating
Yeah,
around.
other teams.
All these
There's
other
like
people
there's
are
like
in the world with
78
us,
people in the same map, but we can't
but I
can't
bring
group
one
up.
more damn friend with me.
Here's I'm actually gonna dive into that. The reason why that actually is the way it is,
I don't
because
care.
when Destiny, you listen to me, sir.
Listen to me, boy.
Listen to me, sir. No, but legitimately, the reason why is because they weren't dedicated servers when it first came out, and that's the reason why they didn't have dedicated. They did not have designated. They don't that. They didn't have designated servers, so it was a little bit harder for them to be able to do that. But as the game started progressing, and now which by the way, can we all talk about this? Crossplay for Destiny. No more
Huge.
telling a friend that they can't play because they're on another console. Every game. Okay, developers, listen to me again. Here another one, developers. Listen to me. Listen to me.
On every
Look,
game,
listen
crossplay
to me
on
right
every
now.
game.
Every game needs to be crossplay. Every company needs to work with every company. Every platform needs to be able to play with each other. Because then if they want to buy
Or
your
at least
Nintendo,
Xbox and PC,
if they want to buy your Nintendo Switch and they don't care about graphics, but they still want to jump in and play with their friends, then let them. If they want a Series X and they want to be on the best console ever, which I truly believe, then you can play that. If you want to be on a PS5, then you can wait for an exclusive title to come out next year sometime and possibly maybe play with somebody. But if you're on PC, you can play with everybody. Except people who
Don't have the-
literally crossplay needs to happen though. For
So
literally
wait,
everybody.
what is Sony's only exclusive anymore?
Hold on.
Well, Horizon got pushed back to
Horizon
2021
got-
or 2022.
And they don't make
have-
Uncharted
They don't have
anymore.
anything coming out till 22 now.
Yeah, literally, can you think of, like, legitimately, is there any games
That's
coming
what
out
I'm
for
saying.
PlayStation this year?
Uncharted was the only game that I loved. PlayStation.
God of War,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man. Yeah.
God of War. You didn't like God of War?
No.
You are a heathen. Get out of this podcast right now. I
God
quit.
of War is pretty stunning.
God of War. Is amazing.
So here's the thing. Yeah, there's some fears in me when I play a video.
You shaved your head, you'd look like Kratos.
Yeah, I got it. That's just,
Yeah,
like I don't like. They were really big, and
that's what she said.
it kind of scared me.
Oh, yeah, that's also probably what she said.
Oh Jesus.
That's why I don't play Sea of Thieves. I don't like being in the water.
Oh yeah, he's afraid of the water.
I won't play a game where I have to go in the water.
I had to get all.
You're
the treasure
afraid
by
of the
myself.
water?
I had to play all. I had to get
You know
all
how
the
to swim?
treasure in Sea of Thieves
No,
by
I
myself.
personally know how to swim, but I don't like when my character goes in the water because I don't like things underneath me. It freaks me out.
So you want to know something funny?
I played Mass Effect 2, I think it was, and I had to go underwater, and I stopped playing the game completely. I was like probably 20 hours in and was just like, nope, I'm done.
Wait,
Not
look,
playing this
okay,
game anymore.
real life, I can understand that because I hate being in the ocean, not being able to see underneath because Megalodon's going to come up and bite my ankles. But you, in a game, cannot play a game.
That is correct.
Okay, so wait, you literally can't. So if you jump into Sea of Thieves and you look down, you're like, oh, I'm going to the bottom. And then you're like,
There's a shark in there. Nope.
He did
It's
not
not
go
real.
in the water.
I'm not
telling
kidding.
you. Look,
We would be on the boat. No, listen, we'd
look,
be on
look,
the
I would
boat,
have
and
to
there'd be
go
that
get the treasure by
sunken treasure.
myself.
anybody watching this podcast right now, just so you guys know, video games are not real. They do not depict real life.
It gives me this like something's behind me crawling on my back. I don't like it.
Sharks don't crawl.
I understand that. But then the freaking megalodon and the kraken would come, and I'd be in the very bottom. I'd just be fixing the boat. That's all I did because I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to see it. I'm fixing the boat. Just
You know what's amazing about that? Can we just talk about how well the immersion of Sea of Thieves is? If that's how you feel about it,
It was great.
Yeah,
oh
true.
my god, it was great. And even with the little shark, you
strong the immersion of Sea of
Are you going to
Thieves
start singing Baby Shark right now? Is that my
No, I'm not. I'm not. Probably
Okay.
sure.
All right, good.
So many segues we can come from this right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a fear of mine in video games. I don't.
So basically, what you're saying is you don't like anything with tentacles, and you don't like sharks crawling on you.
That's correct.
That's valid. I mean, I
have you
wouldn't
ever had
argue
a shark
against that. I
crawl on
don't
you?
want sharks crawling on me either.
Well,
Yeah. Not that they crawl.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's
saying.
bizarre. In Andy's head, they crawl underneath the seas.
They crawl.
They just crawl in the sea.
No, I don't like it.
Literally.
I don't
That's
like
a
it.
giant. You don't like squidbillies, man?
I've literally had to have my wife come into the room and I hand her the
Give you
controller
CPR after you played Sea of Thieves?
for her to get me past the level.
It's okay, honey. You can breathe. It's
so that I
fine.
can continue
It's
playing the
fine.
game.
You're alive. You're alive. The sharks are not crawling
Now,
on
it's
you.
a little better. I used to
baby.
He's
Here you
getting
go.
PTSD from the crawling sharks.
I used to be that way against like zombies and stuff like that. I didn't like that, but I'm better now.
You just gave me double chin. I
You would
jerked
never
back
play
so quick
Dead
when you said
Space
that.
with me.
Yeah, Dead Space is the best.
You would
I can't wait for the new
never
one.
play Dead Space.
Oh, speaking of, there's a new one coming.
That's gonna be great.
Blech. The whole the nursery scene, the most scary scene in video games.
We tried to play Layers of Fear. It was a disaster.
Oh my god!
Really?
It was just like
That game was creepy though.
Although I will tell you this, Layers of Fear, nay, I have one of the best clips ever. She snuck up behind me, but for all who don't know, that's my wife. Snuck up behind me and literally scared me. I screamed so loud. I sounded like a banshee. It
That's
freaked
awesome.
me out because I was sitting there and I was into the game and it was like one of those moments where you're walking slow and you can hear everything creaking around you. And I went to the door and I'm like, no. You just know something. It was like going to be a jump scare. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she comes up and she goes, go, like this behind me. And I think I pooped myself. I literally think I shat right there in the chair. Like there was nothing that could, I was done. That was it.
That chair, is it?
No, I got a new one. That one got thrown away after that.
the chair that he's sitting in now is just sopping wet from all the sweat. That
Look, you know what? Like I'm not going to lie. It's like a sauna in here. It's very hot here.
You look
What?
dry. So
you do look very. You do,
Look, I don't sweat. Like, here's the weird thing about me. Like, I really don't sweat unless, like, I am, like, working out. But that's why I'm not lifting up my arms. Does it look wet? Look, it's shimmering.
no,
a little
it doesn't look wet.
Can we never talk about this again?
Should we go on
Can we
to
cut this out and post edit?
the movies, TV, or
No, because Drake, earlier you said, well, actually, you both touched on Final Fantasy VII being your favorite game, and Drake,
Is that really your favorite game too?
Oh, I absolutely love Final Fantasy. In fact, I love it so much that I have not played the remake in fear that it's going to ruin.
Oh no.
The game.
Oh no. It's better than the original.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Dude, take it from a guy who literally played that game so many hours. I think I had like 600 hours on the original Final Fantasy VII because I kept going back.
4-disc set.
Oh yeah, dude. Everybody had
it was great.
Everybody
I still have it. My PS2.
I still have it up here.
PlayStation
right
1
there.
set.
Yep.
I still
Yep.
have it.
I have the mess up case where it actually says Square on it. It didn't even say Square Enix.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Or Square Soft.
There's another version of that that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, I have both of them.
Now you said that there was didn't you say there was a deal going on for the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Yeah, it's until the 19th, I believe. It is quite a bit off right now. I had to look it up.
I thought you said they were giving something away.
Yeah, I actually have it. I actually have it right here. Let me see. Let me pull that up for us.
Final Fantasy remake, the first part, I believe, was on PlayStation Plus for a hot minute, and they were actually giving it away.
So right now,
is it episodic?
Yes.
Like it's
so I'll explain it. It's 34% off for limited time only, all the way until let's see here.
Yes, it is episodic.
PlayStation 4 is on sale for 50% off, and PS5 version is 34% off. For the digital version is a Final Fantasy VII remake, and then also to episode intermission. So I'll explain exactly what they're doing. So yeah, if you guys haven't picked it up and you want to play it, Andy, now is the time. Go do it if you don't have it already. So a lot of people say it's episodic, but it's not. So basically, what they're doing is they're breaking up Final Fantasy VII Remake into multiple parts, which technically, but here's the reason why.
So like
without ruining it for you.
Well, I've played the game.
No, you played
the remake.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. No.
See, that's why I didn't want to play.
Just listen to me. Listen to me. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Listen. All right, look. It's the same game, but it's not.
Say what?
Yeah.
That's the in-depth.
I don't want to ruin it for you, man, because the first time you play through it, you're going to be like, what the hell? Because Sephiroth's in it a lot more. He's not in it for like 12 seconds like he is in the first game. Right. And I'm just going to say this right now. Final Fantasy in overall is, let's put it this way. Just think about it like Kang the Conqueror.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Cool.
Okay.
And anybody who knows what Kang the Conqueror, he is in multiple different multiverses.
Ooh.
And
so we got a multiverse
in Marvel. Fantasy. Not in Final Fantasy.
No. In Final Fantasy, literally, that's what it is. It's a multiverse of Final Fantasy VII.
But Kang.
Oh, that's cool. But Kang is actually because Final Fantasy is just a multiverse of Marvel. I mean,
basically, Sephiroth becomes Kang.
Okay. Well, don't tell me anymore.
I'm not. Yeah. See, look, I'll keep talking about it because you're getting me all hyped up. Why don't you go play the damn game? You call yourself a Final Fantasy fan and haven't played it? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
For it to come out on PC like it should have.
You're a PC.
I am a PC.
You play the game. Favorite game. I haven't even played it.
Yeah,
I might shake your head at him. He deserves it. All the shaking of the head.
Terrible. Sounds like terrible jet engine taking off when I turn it on.
Well, get a PS5, scrub.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna get one of those.
By the way, can we talk about this too? I just have to say it. I don't care. I'm throwing it out there. How is it the top selling game when nobody can get it, or top selling system when nobody has seen one for like 8 months?
But it's not even that. They came out. They said that the PS5 is being sold at profit.
Not only sold at profit. Not only sold at profit. They're no longer losing on the consoles as of like this month or something. But also on the flip side of that, who has seen a PS5? Has anybody seen one? Literally in the podcast, comment below. Let us know. Have you seen a PS5 and walked in and they're just there at the store? Have you seen that? Like I have not. I have not seen it once since launch. Since launch, I have not seen it. And you know how I got mine?
How'd you get yours? All of them.
I bought mine. I bought mine in a bundle for $750 from some third-party website that I've never heard of, and took a real big gamble hoping that it showed up, and it did. And I ended up getting and I ended up getting 2 controllers, the system itself, a charging dock, the camera. I got Miles Morales and Demon Souls,
It's a good
all
little
for
bundle.
$750. Yeah,
That's a good.
that's not
package.
bad.
How is Miles Morales? That game looked dope too.
That is an episodic. It should have been a full game, and it wasn't. Miles Morales is my favorite.
Why do they do that?
Look, I'm just gonna say this right now. It was a DLC for the original Spider-Man, but I will say this: like that, it is its own independent game. But
it's a money game.
Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man. I will say it till the end I die. I love Miles Morales. He is the best Spider-Man, and I cannot wait. And there's already rumors that he is going to be introduced in this new Far From Home, and I hope to God, because I want Silk, I want freaking Gwenpool, I want freaking.
Yeah.
I want all the like anything with Gwen, yes. Oh,
They bring Gwenpool.
and Squirrel Girl.
Well,
Squirrel Girl is Squirrel Girl is the best. See, you own 2 comics. What do you know?
what happens if you? So, but then how does that tie in with Gwenum?
Well, Gwenum is a whole nother thing, and Gwen literally tries to kill Mary Jane. So in that whole series, which is crazy,
Right.
and it's actually really awesome because because Mary Jane actually becomes Carnage in the new comic book series, and it's crazy. And she literally tries to kill Gwen. It's awesome.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's really yeah.
I mean, when you're such a nerd that you have comic books more than one, you would know these things.
Yeah.
So episodic titles, we were just kind of spitballing about this because when the game's introduced to you as an episodic title, right? We were talking about like Batman the Telltale series.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic game. It
Yeah.
was a 5-episode series. You knew
Life is
going
Strange.
in. Life is Strange is another one that's episodic. When games when they come out and they end up being episodic, when you don't know that
They're episodic.
that it's going to be that way, do you get ultimately disappointed? Because for me, let's just look at Destiny, for example. Okay. When Destiny 1 came out, the story was very bleak. It was very shallow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kind of they flesh it out over the course of all of the expansions that they bring out.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, raids and expansions and everything else in between.
right, where there are other titles that when you buy them, you're getting these lengthy campaigns that are complete in the game itself. Right? Look at Arkham.
Yeah.
The Arkham games, the campaign, the whole thing is there. It's a lot of hours to go through an Arkham game, and if you're going to complete it like 100%, it's a lot of hours.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
time.
Now, do you just get utterly disappointed when you find out that you're now going to have to spend not 60 and not even 120 but upwards of $180 to get the whole story?
Well, okay, so
Because
so
for me,
Destiny.
I find it infuriating.
So Destiny, I think, learned its lesson, and I think a lot of that had to do with Activision originally. And I've talked about this in depth numerous times. Activision, obviously, the same thing they're doing with the Battle Pass and the seasons on Call of Duty. One after another, they release these bleak, boring seasons with a couple new characters, and it's the same reskinned weapons, and it's literally the same pattern that happened in Warzone that was happening in Destiny since Activision left and Bungie took over the reins. Now all of the games went free on on Game Pass.
Mhm.
So there was one thing.
Right.
They weren't worried about making money. They were literally like, and I'm sure they worked out some kind of arrangement with Xbox and Microsoft. And so they're getting paid for that, obviously, because they have to make revenue. We all know that. But
Right.
if you're already paying for something and you get all that for free, and you don't have to worry about buying all the extras because it comes with it now, you get all the expansions just for doing what you already do. That's the way it should be. That way episodic doesn't matter, because then you're not paying for it each time. Now, when they do this is what I
Destiny
hate.
expansions you have to pay for.
No, you don't. Not if you have Xbox Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Game Pass is 100%
Expansions are
free, but only on Xbox and PC. Everywhere else that you have to pay for them.
But see,
Okay,
I
so
like
Sony,
the
they
way
make you
that
pay for
like Call of Duty does it to where you pay for it once. Fortnite does the same thing. You pay for it
$10.
once, and if you play the game and level up and do your things that you need to do, you get everything within the battle pass and some to then pay for it again the next
But
season.
here's the difference between Destiny and Call of Duty. Call of Duty's player base 6 times bigger than Destiny's. Also, they also have huge financial backing from Activision, and Activision is dropping astronomical amounts of money into it for publishing, advertisement, marketing. So they have to make that money back. And what they're doing is they're showing you it, but how many people do you know just buy the battle pass all the way to the end? Right off the bat. They don't even earn through it. How many people do you know? Because I know a lot of people that just do that. They don't even wait. They just buy it all the way through, which is actually almost as expensive, if not more expensive, than the base game when you first buy it. But then they release 12 of those throughout the year. So by the time you get to the end of the year, you've already spent $1,000 on a game that was $60.
Yeah, but like so there's
Destiny doesn't make you do that.
On Oculus that I have. That's it's Star Wars game. There's 3 episodes.
Beat Saber?
No.
Or are you talking about the one where you fight in the arena?
No, it's neither one. It's a Star Wars game. So
Those are both Star Wars games.
It's Star Wars, like Darth Vader or something. I don't remember.
Oh, the Darth Vader game. Yeah.
So there's 3 episodes, but a normal game on Oculus is around 30, like a big game is around 3 episodes, and they're all $10. Like, I can understand that side of it a little bit. I'm going to pay $60 for, and correct me if I'm wrong, Final Fantasy, and then when the next one comes out, do I have to pay again?
So,
Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
So,
like a game like that, right?
I mean, yeah.
Because if
you're
it's
each one.
kind of like
you're buying
part 1, and then I'm going to buy part 2, and then I'm gonna buy part 3.
here's
By
the
the end,
difference.
I've got $180.
So here, let me explain this this way. Okay, so Midgar in the original game was 8 hours long total. 8 hours long total. When you play the remake, the whole game takes place in Midgar, and you could play up to 120 hours plus.
So you're saying the game in itself is a complete game, even though the story isn't finished being
Correct. And so what they're doing is basically think of them more of expansions than episodes, because it is literally a continuation of the story, but it takes a lot of development time to. So just imagine after you get out of Midgar, imagine how big the world is.
right. Yeah,
The golden saucer.
Yeah.
You go around the swamp. You go down. You meet up with Vincent and Yuffie
Chocobos.
and the chocobo breeding and all that stuff, right? So they made Midgar 8 hours, 120 plus hours if you do all the DLCs and you do the hard mode and you do all the extra stuff. And then now they included this Yuffie story. The Yuffie story was $30, so it was like whatever, but it was cool because it was all new content.
Right.
Why the stuff at Midgar was happening. So it's going simultaneously, but it's a different arc. It's a different arc. So in it, that was an episode because it was an episode outside of the main story. That is an episode to me. Whereas in the main story, that is a whole game, but they have, because it is so ginormous. Because if you think about it, they put it on 4 discs back in the day. Imagine now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is 80 gig games coming out in patches because it's too big to do in one game. There's just no way. Then nobody's going to download a 300 gig game. They'd be like, no.
Yeah. I mean, why do that when you have Call of Duty?
Pretty much.
Right. It's almost
Like,
200 gigs.
280.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, honestly, that's the difference.
I get that a little bit better. I mean, and I understand the whole, like, I absolutely love Borderlands. I'm a huge fan of Borderlands. And like,
love Borderlands.
I get having the base game of Borderlands and then the season pass that includes all the DLC. Like, I understand that side of it too. There's a lot of games that do that. But to me, like
Avengers.
Right.
Where a lot of people were upset about Avengers. And, oh, it sucks. Like, you're not getting your game's worth. Okay, the campaign was 12 hours. What single player game do you know that's over 12 hours now? None. Like, I mean, Cyberpunk was, but that's still because you could do like a million things and it had multiple different stories and, you know, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, for a game of that caliber, when do you ever see a game that's over 12-hour campaign? You don't really see that very often.
A game that is as linear designed as Avengers is to be over 12 hours, that's
it's pretty
impressive.
Exactly. So to be able to do that and then release stories every 4 months that continue that story and add new areas as you go throughout the year. The only issue that I have with Avengers is that they were trying to be too much like Destiny. You can't, it's not a Destiny type game. Destiny is its own breed. Every single game that has tried to rework the first person open world RPG looter shooter like Destiny has failed. Outriders failed. It was great while it was there, but there's no way that they can continue that, because you know how much money it takes to make an open world, open source game like that where they can continuously just add. That's why they started shelving stuff and taking stuff out of the game, or as they call it, vaulting, taking old content out and bringing it back later and redoing it. But still, what I honestly think, and this is what I've said about Destiny numerous times, is the reason why they're vaulting, they're taking it out, working on that content, updating it for next gen, and they're adding the new content, and then they're going to put it in a rotation. So all the old raids that we loved, instead of having them in all year, every single day, and you can go through all of them whenever you want, which a lot of people want, it's just not feasible. Yeah. But what they could do is go, this week, okay, you can play Vaults of Glass. Next week, you can play Crota. Next week, you can play Taken King. Next week, you can play the Iron Wolves, the Wrath of the Machine. And you can play through all these old DLCs, but you only have a week, and it's in a rotation. This week, you can get this gun. And you know what? If you miss it, that's on you.
Yeah.
So
and then that way...
It's an interesting take. And it's one approach that now Halo has kind of come around, and they've taken a different approach with their battle passes, right?
Whereas you pay it once.
When now you pay it once, but not only that, like, you can activate any prior battle pass you want.
Whenever you want.
And then, but if you deactivate it, then
you lose it.
Then you lose it, right? So you have to go back, you've got to go through that battle pass, complete it, and then you can move on to another one that you choose, but you always have to have that one active. Otherwise it resets and you got to go back and do it.
Did they actually say with those battle passes too, if you complete the battle pass, do you get to keep it?
You keep what you earned.
Yeah, well, you keep what you earn, correct? Yeah. So like, say for example, like it's 100 levels. If you like say it's 100 levels and you beat it. Well, that's what I'm saying. So say for example, you pay for the battle pass, and then the next one comes out, you get it for free. You beat that one. Then the third one, you get busy, life gets hectic, crazy, and you only beat 25 levels in the 100 levels. Do you keep those 25 or do you lose the whole entire battle pass? Those are the questions that they didn't really answer, I don't think, did they?
I mean, normally all the other games I've ever experienced, you keep whatever you've gone up to.
Unlocked.
From what I understand, you keep what you've unlocked, right? And then you go back to it. And then, but you can't work two battle passes simultaneously. Like, you can only have one battle pass activated.
One activated at a time. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, from everything
cool approach, because you miss out on stuff if you like you said, like, life gets hectic or whatever, and I'm so into what's going on with Halo and everything else, and then I miss it, and I'm like, I still regret, even to this day, I still regret not completing the battle pass for Call of Duty when it was for Ghost, because Ghost was my favorite character from Modern Warfare 2. I love that character. Of course, they killed him.
You can go back and buy the character, can't you?
So you can't buy the skins that were tied to challenges. You can't buy. So there's like a Reaper skin for him. You can't get it. There's all this stuff. But I will never, like, unless they put it in a bundle, I will never be able to go back and get it. But Halo has completely circumvented that, and they said, nope, this is what you're going to be able to do. And that's fantastic. Now, I would love to see, what if, like, Destiny...
They already do that.
Was able to put that in to the point where they said, well, you can activate any set of raids you want, but you can only have one active at a time.
Well, this is my theory. I honestly think they're just going to put them in a rotation, which would be fine because honestly, like if it's like a raid that you're really anticipated, they'll release like the rotation cycle like in advance and like a battle pass so say for example, like season 15, we don't know the name of it yet. It's going to be announced in 2 weeks. They just announced some of the mods today because there was a bunch of likes on Twitter. But one thing that Destiny is doing, and a lot of people don't know this, is that those old skins, those old ornaments, those old things that we all may have liked in a previous battle pass, they're adding it to the loot pool after the season ends. And then you can get it through just random drops, which is pretty cool. So if you
super low percentage.
No, it's actually not that bad. But the thing is, it's more for the cosmetic side of it than more so the actual, because Destiny has never been like Battlefield or Battlefront 2, where like you could buy something and automatically be stronger. They've never been like that. Right. A lot of people hated on the Eververse when it first came out in D1. We all remember that debacle because everybody's like, oh, you got to buy everything if you want anything. Well, they have sections like that, but what they've been doing is they do release it. If you're impatient, you don't want to wait, they'll release it for silver. You can buy it right then and there, like any battle pass or anything else, if you want it right then and there. But what they're doing now is after like a couple weeks, or maybe they wait a season. So everybody, they wait a while and then they'll bring it back and they'll bring it so you can buy it for Bright Dust, which is just in-game currency. So it gives you the option if you really want to wait. It's more for the impatient people who are like, I need this now. Oh my God, I need this skin. It's so cool. But, but that is your choice. You're not forced to buy anything. And a lot of people are like, oh, they're locked behind paywalls. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're literally like, you can wait and get it later. But what happens if I want it now? I have to wait for 2 seasons to get it.
Yeah, that's personal, right? That's
a personal choice. That is literally not, that's not them making a mistake. They literally are giving everybody the opportunity to buy it. If you can't buy it, then later on it comes into the pool and you're like, oh my God. And there's stuff that comes into the pool all the time. Like they'll have it in the store that you can just go in and just buy it for Bright Dust weekly. Or you may maybe missed a shader and you're like, oh, I want that shader. Or, oh my God, there's a new ornament for this weapon. So they're definitely learning from their mistakes. And that's the one thing I will give to Bungie and Destiny as a whole. Their community, they listen too much. That is the one issue that I have. They listen to the community way too much. You remember when a game would come out and that's the game you got. If you didn't like it, you didn't play it.
Suck it up. Yeah,
if you were like, literally, if Super Mario Brothers 3 came out and they listened to all the people's bitching and griping and complaining, that game would have never came out, or we would have had, instead of Raccoon Mario, we would have had, fucking, who knows? I don't even know. Like, I can't even think of another costume. Like, we would have had Kitty Cat Mario. Nobody knows. That came out later. I don't know. You don't get what I'm saying, though. Yeah, like meow, meow, meow. They did have that skin eventually come out. You climb up walls with Princess Peach. It was cool later on. But besides the point. So, but what I'm saying is, though, is that, like, sometimes people's community and feedback is definitely valid. Like there are certain things that are broken in PvP. There are certain things that need to be fixed and addressed that definitely are, everybody is having the same issue. But when you start nitpicking stuff and everybody's like, oh, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. I don't like this. You're still playing this game? You haven't installed this game yet? It's like people like that. And that's a lot of Reddit. We all know how Reddit is. You dive into that and it's literally, you're still playing that garbage game? You haven't uninstalled it yet?
Oh, they said that about Apex when we were still playing Apex. Oh, you're not playing Call of Duty?
Yeah, and now everybody's playing Apex. But you know what, though? I've said it since the very beginning. Warzone was going to fail because Activision was in charge. I am still a strong believer that Activision is a plague on the gaming industry because they use their power to push product. And it's like poker, right? If you got somebody who's sitting at the table and they have all the chips, they can bluff everyone at the table and it doesn't matter because all they have to do is go all in and you had to fold. You know what I mean? And you could be that gambling guy, but you're not going to throw in your whole pot and everything that you've earned all night just to try to prove a point. You're going to be like, nah, it's okay. I'm going to keep this. And that's what ends up happening in the industry. That's the best analogy I can get. And Activision does that all the time. They force push people. They go in and go, okay, we got all the money. If you want to succeed, you have to do what we say. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll do this. It's not what we want.
I mean, and everybody rolls over because
That's
Especially
the
for
mentality of the gaming industry, which is shitty. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It should not be where the guy with the most money or the most power is in charge. It shouldn't be that way. It should be. That's why indie development. That's why one thing I love, like ID, like all the indie development stuff that like
ID
Xbox
and
started.
Xbox.
Yeah, that's amazing because it gives gamers the opportunity to make their own games and let the public decide if those games are good. You know what I mean? If they want to invest a bunch of time, there's so many indie games that we did not think were going to be good that ended up being just like, oh my God, Journey on PlayStation was a prime example of that. That was an indie-based game, you know?
What was that cup game that was really hard?
Cuphead?
Cuphead, yeah.
And they're coming out with the second one.
It was an indie game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an indie game as well. Yep. That game was so dope. It was hard.
Yeah, I was just saying.
And then also another co-op game.
Remember Inside?
Oh yeah, Inside, yeah.
Limbo.
Yeah. Limbo was another good one. Man, there's so many games that were like Ascent. Wasn't that an indie game?
Ori? Was Ori the first?
Ori was originally, I think, an indie game.
Ori was great.
And then they were bought up by Microsoft because it was too good to not, you know.
Right, yeah.
And the visuals, the graphics, the gameplay, the story, that pulled your emotions in every direction.
Yarn game was really good.
There's so many good games. So many good games that were indie games that you just play and you're just like, Yarny. Oh yeah, that little yarn thing with the little look like Unraveled. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Little Big Planet.
You know what? You know what's really funny is I always compare Unravel with Knack. Remember Knack for PlayStation? And they were like that was the one with like all the Legos where like you would get broken up and they were pushing it for a PS4 launch title. And the game came out and everybody's like, what is this? And Unravel reminded me of that, but except Unravel was like just an emotional roller coaster. That game was about like people passing away, and it was so sad and it was like depressing. It was interesting, but like you have a game like that, and then you have Knack, who was just like, "What is this crap?" Like, I'm sorry, there were certain games that just came out. Another game that started off as an indie game and then got picked up was Sunset Overdrive. That was originally an indie game, and then the company that made
that was a fun game,
Insomniac, yeah, and they're a huge company now.
Yeah, they got bought by PlayStation, right?
They got bought by PlayStation, so we may get a Sunset Overdrive over there. I doubt it, but it would be nice. I would love that.
I understand their contract's almost up.
Yeah, well, okay. If that, I'm going to tell you right now, if Insomniac leaves PlayStation and comes to Xbox, it's over for PlayStation. I will say that right now. I will say it right now.
Almost over for PlayStation. I mean, there's a lot of people
that alone has pretty much decimated that market.
Look, I don't
27 out of 30.
I'm gonna say this right now, okay? Before everybody like uninstalls the internet and freaks out right now. PlayStation does have great games. They do. But the problem is with this industry, with PlayStation, is that I feel like a lot of the time PlayStation is so greedy with how they push their products. They were the last ones to jump in for crossplay for Fortnite, and look at how popular Fortnite is and how much more money they make because they decided to finally buckle. If they would just go with the flow with some of these things, man, we would have so many more amazing things. We really would. We really would.
Destiny. Look at Destiny on PlayStation. It's not free on PlayStation.
Yeah, and you got to pay for it, and you can't play with anybody. But also too, on the flip side of that too, is that when crossplay comes out, we're never going to have to worry about that. You're going to have these PlayStation people playing with Xbox, and I've said this time and time again. How do you end a rivalry? You let everybody play.
Bring them together.
You let them play together, because guess what happens? Then you have people on PlayStation playing against Xbox, and then right there you can see who's the better gamer. It's just like any tournament or anything else. You can actually be like, hey, oh no, PlayStation's so much better. Xbox is so much better. Okay, let's play 1v1. It's crossplay now. Let's go.
1v1 me, dude.
Yeah, it's like pretty much it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Give me all the V-Bucks. I want them. Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Man,
yeah, I'm not really a huge Xbox versus PlayStation rivalry person, honestly. I think, you're going to play on whatever you have.
Yeah, it's all about the games.
I don't like the idea of the only console left. Like, even Nintendo Switch is working with Xbox to try to get Xbox Game Pass
Everybody is.
onto the Switch.
Yeah.
Like it's insane to think like this one console is just holding out just for the sake of holding out. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
just makes
It doesn't
no
make any
sense
sense.
for
And
the
a lot of
survival of
people,
that
and all the
console at
PlayStation
all.
fanboys, before you get
Makes
upset and get
zero
riled up.
sense whatsoever.
Literally, here's the thing. This is what we're saying. It's all about the games. We don't care about the consoles. We don't care if you play on PC. We don't care if you play on Xbox. We don't care if you play on PlayStation, Nintendo. If you're only classic console games, what it really comes down to is the games. The games are what bring us all together. More co-op games, more crossplay. Dabs, listen to me, please. But legitimately, those things are what everybody wants. If everybody can play together, then who cares what console you're on? Then you can play whatever console you want. You can gripe and complain and be that master race person all you want, but nobody likes an elitist. Nobody likes an elitist.
Yeah.
Like no matter what console you're on, nobody like, oh, PlayStation better, Xbox is better. Now, bang for your buck, Xbox is winning that run right now because Game Pass Ultimate is the best value in video games, hands down. You know why? Because it's on cloud, it's on PC, and it's on Xbox.
I don't think I've bought a video game in a long time.
You don't
It's been a
need to.
while.
You don't really need
This
to.
is
It's been a
like,
while.
all of it's been on.
It's everything comes out on Game
Game
Pass,
Pass.
and that's what I was mentioning that
And I play
earlier.
PC.
Day one,
E3.
day one, which is even
At-
crazier.
At E3, they showed off 30 games for Xbox. 27 of them are on Game Pass. 27 out of 30 new
nuts.
releases for this year. Plus
And that's
some
not,
of them-
that was just their new releases. That wasn't even all the indie games or anything else in between. There's probably over 150 games.
well, and
that are all free.
The existing library is massive.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Now-
well, I think we actually did the research on this. It was 396 games the last time we looked it up. It's probably more now.
It's
396
more.
games.
They have started cycling them. They've
Well,
started
that was in
taking
May,
some
though.
down.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the games they just took off Game Pass on. They're taking it down on the 15th. They're taking Final Fantasy 7
7,
Right.
out of the Game Pass. But you know what though? Everybody got an opportunity to play it for what, 2-3 months?
Yeah, it was a long
Yeah.
time.
It gives you plenty of time to play that game. And if you really enjoy it, that's how developers make even more money. They buy it.
onto the Xbox.
Well, just literally though, but I'm just saying in general, they'll buy it if they truly enjoy the game.
Right.
That's how Game Pass is so amazing. They let you try it out and you love it so much that you buy it. Because you know it's not going to be there forever.
Well, they're all available, and plus they give you a discount because you're a Game Pass owner.
And
So they give you a
EA as
discount in
well.
the store, and EA is now included inside
Yeah.
of Game Pass. Now that not the, unfortunately, it's not EA Play Pro, which would have been. I mean, that would have pretty much.
It would have been great,
icing on
but-
the cake,
God.
but
Biggest kind.
Well, actually, if you have Game Pass, just regular Game Pass, not Ultimate, that is EA included. But I think if you have Game Pass, I'm pretty sure on this, but I could be wrong. I think if you have Game Pass Ultimate, it does include EA Plus.
you are incorrect.
Is it?
It is not EA Play Pro.
I thought they just changed that recently, though.
It's too bad. No, it's not. I wish it was,
Okay.
but it's not.
Oh, that sucks.
That
Well,
would be nice.
Because then I'd have Battlefield when it came out, and that will be the next game I actually have to purchase.
Yeah, have to buy.
Is Battlefield.
I will be playing that too because I already played it and it's pretty awesome.
It's very, very exciting.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I actually like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm excited about
and
that.
you know what?
You know what it reminds me of? Modern Combat. Remember that Battlefield?
Yep.
That was my best Battlefield, other than Bad Company. I didn't like 4. I hated 4. Everybody
Bad
loved
Company
4.
to me was just the narrative of everything was fun, and it
It was playful. Like if
It's
you
a
put
very-
us
very
in a
good title.
platoon together and ran us through for a gold heist, everything would go wrong.
Yeah,
Bad Company 2 was outstanding.
Yeah, it was so good. They're supposed to be making a third one, but who knows?
I thought that's what we were gonna get. Actually,
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
thought this was gonna be Bad Company 3.
and you saw they had the little grenade with a little smiley face on it in the
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that'll be a DLC pack. Maybe it'll come out and
Mhm.
we'll get to play those characters in the game, which would be a smart
That would be
tactic for
pretty
them.
fun.
It'd be pretty cool. You get to play all the old characters, you know? And EA, wasn't EA also the one with, what was the game that had the masks? Remember? And it was 2
Army
people.
of 2.
Army of 2.
Yeah.
That was EA too, wasn't it?
Fun game.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that game was fun. The first one was really good. The second one was kind of meh, but imagine if they released those characters in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like X Defiant, you know, for Ubisoft right now, they're including like, you know, Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed and all these into their characters for the multiplayer and with real gunplay. And, you know, like I actually ran into somebody today that was actually at the bar and they were telling me, they were like, you know, I played it. It was okay. I'm like, it's the beta. What do you, it's the beta. This is like it's not coming out for 2 years. Like, what do you mean? What? Like, how can you just like automatically shut it off?
It's a long way out yet, but
yeah. Like that's the one thing that when people get upset at betas, like how many people are outraged at the Halo beta, like the shaders and like the way that things looked. And I'm like, look, it's an early production beta. This is like, they're not going to put all the details, all the bells and whistles and render everything out so you can get your satisfaction for 2 days.
Yeah.
Shut up.
there's also people that would be the end of their experience with Halo. If it were the full package, they'd end up walking away after that. They would be like, yeah, I played Halo, but you didn't really. So, betas, there's always been that whole argument about like whether or not they should even release a beta or a demo. Remember, you used to be able to get demos on Xbox. You used to be able to just
you would get them. You get them in the map pack. Remember the map packs for Halo 2? You get the map packs. You buy those after, and you would have to buy the map packs on a separate disc, which I still have. I'm literally looking at it right now. Actually, it's up on my shelf.
So it's just interesting that people get really upset about demos. I don't really understand it, but you know, there's also that it should be. Well, not only that, but it should be indicative of what the game's going to be like. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But it's a small taste, and that's like it's just
to wet the taste buds, man, and let you see what they've been working on, and then hey, this is just the taste. Like this is what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Well, what they really
don't get upset because it doesn't have perfect shading on the door. Like what?
What they really want is constructive feedback. So they're only going to get that from maybe 10 to 15% of the people that play that.
Yeah. Like the actual content developers, creators.
That's the valuable part of putting it out for them, is then people go online and be like,
well, those are also stress tests too for the servers. That's another big thing that they do. They do stress tests to kind of see how the servers are going to hold up for launch day.
Right. But it's like, well, the guns didn't.
Which never works.
Guns didn't feel right to me.
Which
feel smooth.
Anybody who plays Destiny knows that never freaking works because we're in queue for the first 4 hours of a new launch game.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much any new game now at this point. Like anytime launch day is so, one game. I will say this: there is one game to this day that I have never had a launched new season bust. And guess what it was? Can you guess?
Laser Shoot Larry.
I literally I don't even know how to respond to that. No, literally Fortnite.
Great demos.
Fortnite. Every single on their launch day, you literally get in the game the second it goes live. There is no downtime. There's no
hardly any hiccups on the events and stuff like that.
No, nothing, dude. It's like so seamless. Like you literally log in and you're in the game and you're playing. Like there is no issues. Like I've never had an issue with Fortnite jumping
into a black hole.
Well, that was a great. Like, how many people were riled up about that for 4 days? So like, that was the really best marketing strategy ever, and it was a big troll for them. It was awesome, but like, even so, like, it did because they got a lot more people paying attention to them, and they trended on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. I mean, it was a great way to get advertisement out there, and now they have every licensing contract in the world,
and a great way to change a map.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, you could just go back in time like 20 years and do a 1984 version of the same map if you wanted. I mean, that's a strategy too, I guess.
That's what made me uninstall the game. Uninstalled.
You want to talk about trolling your audience?
That was the worst.
How was that?
The absolute worst. Literally
the worst slap in the face.
That was literally the worst ever. They were hyping that up so much that it was going to be so cool.
New map. And
then it was literally the same map.
There's a few POIs.
A satellite crash.
Yeah.
You can go on the gondolas all you want. Have fun. You can go back and forth.
I can drive a motorcycle.
I do like the motorcycles.
All right. Well, I will say this because we are.
Where are we on time?
We're literally 15 minutes out. We're 15 minutes out here. But I will say this, we've hit a lot of topics today, and this is just the first of many episodes.
Sure.
This is just kind of an introduction to the banter and going back and forth. It's going to get a lot crazier as we progress. We're going to get a lot more content. We're going to be getting a lot more stuff to kind of talk about. We're going to try to hit the topics every single Friday, obviously, because Friday is normally after everything hits throughout the week. We may have special episodes where we launch stuff. We're all going to be doing our individual segments and stuff that we can bring out and talk about. And I think like as we progress and we build as a podcast and we've all been chatting and playing games for a while now together. So we're pretty good at like bantering, but it's going to be fun to bring new people on the podcast and have fun with that. And, I hope for everybody who tuned in and literally like had fun with us today. I mean, this is just, like I said, the first of many. We have had so many topics to talk about. Obviously, I hope you guys all enjoy Diablo today. I know it's kind of a hit or miss topic right now. Are you going to play it? Are you not? Because of the Activision scandal. Are you going to play Assassin's Creed today? Because the Attack of Paris officially went live in the DLC. Are you going to go out and see Free Guy in the movie theater? Are you going to watch Titans today, season 3? There's so many things that went live today, and our goal is to make sure that we're covering those each and every week. So with all that being said, for everybody who is tuned in on iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcast or wherever you're listening, if you're on YouTube, if you're on TikTok, there's going to be bloopers from this. We're going to do our best to cover as much funny moments, things we discussed, all the intakes, outtakes, everything that we, crawling sharks to giant squids and not being able to see the bottom, the 4 squares in the background that we still don't know what the hell they're for with Andy's background, Hypermynd and his amazing graphic design that he created all these amazing visuals that you guys see here. And honestly, guys, we have so much stuff in store for you guys. So with that, I would say this is a good place to wrap. And I guess we say goodbye. Episode 1 wrapped.
Yeah. I wrapped.
Yeah, thanks for that input. I appreciate it.
It's been a lot of fun. We covered a lot of stuff today, probably a lot more than we've intended, and that's the entire point of Pardon the Distraction. Is we're not always going to stay on topic.
Yeah, we didn't stay on topic.
Not at all. We had actually
our run sheet is nowhere close to what
nowhere even near. We went all over the place, and that's kind of how the way. And hopefully, like where you got
for more discussion and more to even talk about, and we've got a lot more next week.
Traffic on the way to work.
And make sure you check out all of our individual stuff. And, if you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description.
It'll actually be right here, right there. Everybody point at your spot where it's going to show up. Right
down low.
Right there.
Down low.
Right there. Yeah. So
it's also in the description.
It's also in the description too. But besides the point too, make sure you follow the Lost Drake, Hypermynd, and AndyRoop on all of our social media platforms. And we do have a website with merch live. We already launched all of that. It's going to be at pardonthedistraction.com. Make sure you guys go over there. All of our podcast information will be there along with updates. We're going to have a blog there discussing topics that you guys can chime in. You can also make an account on the website so that way you guys can chime in even more over there. We are soon going to open up the Discord. We created a Discord for everybody to jump in, but we are fine tuning that will be coming here in the near future. And then not only that, here on YouTube, of course, we're going to be here every single Friday. We are planning on launching this every single Friday, along with other segments as we progress and get in sync and get everything going as we bring more people on. And I think it's going to be a cool perspective to talk about a lot of different topics from other people's perspective. We're going to be bringing a lot of amazing women from the industry on board. We're going to be bringing people that have been voice actors and part of major video games that may or may not already came out. We're going to have people that are going to come on here just for comedy and just goofing around and shooting the shit with us. And, this podcast as a whole is just here for us to be able to vent our frustrations about the video game industry, or maybe just talk about our happiness of the video game industry and share that experience with each one of you guys. So if you guys are here listening to us each and every week, we appreciate it. Make sure you guys drop a like, follow, and make sure you guys subscribe. Push that little bell on the YouTube channel so that way you know when we go live, if we do any live events, or if you just want to know when our next video is posted up. So we plan on doing this, and if we do it right, we should have plenty of content pumping out for you guys. And I mean, that's pretty much it.
What he said.